Josh Berry and Cole Custer have a new home. We're also going to talk about Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch, as well as Hailie Deegan and Joey Logano, where he's going to be filling in for. And we're also going to talk about Hooters. So let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first, Kyle Busch got a bunch of spots. I meant to talk about this on the other show, but I didn't because I was waiting on Elton Sawyer. As of recording this at lunchtime today, noon my time, Elton Sawyer or NASCAR still hasn't talked about why Kyle Busch got all those spots back. My guess is going to be that they're going to say he wasn't part of the accident and he was avoiding contact. That's the reason they gave him the spots back. So they're gonna say something to that effect, because there's kind of a rule like that in late model. I don't have the actual Cup Series rule book, but there is a rule in late model like that. If you're avoiding the wreck, not to run into somebody, you do get your spots back. I'm guessing that they're gonna say something like that, but I'm not gonna talk about that until they actually talk to Elton Sawyer or whoever they're gonna talk to about why that decision was made. So we'll wait to do the full episode on that whenever they actually talk about it. Also, as I'm recording this, they haven't penalized Carson Hocevar yet, but I did want to bring this up. I expect them to have some type of penalty for him, whatever it will be. We'll find out, and I'll do a full episode when that happens. But it was very interesting that in the Truck Series, Lane Riggs put the bumper to Parsons there and spun out him, and he got a 2-lap penalty immediately in the Truck Series race. Carson Hocevar hooked somebody under a yellow flag, does not get the 2-lap penalty. I did find that interesting, but once again, we'll wait till that penalty comes out so we can compare and contrast those. But once again, NASCAR is going to NASCAR, right? They're consistently inconsistent. But yeah, I did want to address both of those. I know a lot of people have talked about them in the comments. This is the reason I've waited on doing it. I want to see what NASCAR actually penalizes Hocevar with, and what the actual reasoning is for Kyle Busch. So when NASCAR actually has comments on both of those, I'll include those in the next episode or whatever episode it is. All right, let's move on to the other news. Cole Custer looks like he's returning to the Cup Series. Let's take a look at this article from the Daily Downforce. On Tuesday, Adam Stern of the Sports Business Journal dropped another silly season nugget. According to Stern, the 2023 Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer is expected to move back into the Cup Series for the newish Haas factory team, whom his father, Joe Custer, will serve as team president. So there you go, Cole Custer fans, rejoice. He is back in the Cup Series. That fills one seat. Now there is another story that is floating around there. Apparently it's going to get answered Wednesday at 11 a.m., but let's get into that story from Chayski via the Sports Business Journal. Wood Brothers Racing is in advanced talks to sign driver Josh Berry to compete for the team starting with the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. According to sources, as the fallout from Stewart-Haas Racing downsizing continues, Wood Brothers is a one-car team that runs a number 21 Ford currently driven by Harrison Burton, whose future after this year is unclear. Berry and Wood Brothers Racing have been in negotiations for weeks and are moving toward finalizing an agreement, the people said. Terms and sponsorship details were unclear as of press time. So Josh Berry and Rodney Childers have been very adamant that they want to stay together, so I would imagine that this is going to be a package deal. That's probably why the negotiations are taking a little bit longer. So that is apparently, I guess that's going to displace some of the people that, if that happens, I'm assuming this is happening. I don't have any proof, but they've said numerous times that they're going to stick together, right? They're going to keep that 4 team together, and possibly that 4 team's going over to the 21 team now, would be my guess. We'll have to see when it all comes out. But if that happens, they're going to displace some people over there at Wood Brothers. But that right there gives us 2 seats, and it's also going to give the Wood Brothers a really good chance to finally get over the hump and get that 100th win. And I think Josh Berry and Rodney Childers, if that's what happens, is going to give them the best chance to do that. But also what's interesting about this is it fills out 2 of the silly season seats from the Stewart-Haas Racing fallout. And with Chase Briscoe going to JGR, that means Ryan Preece and Noah Gragson are the last 2 remaining. Are both of those drivers going to go over to Front Row Motorsports? I assume Front Row Motorsports has to have at least some interest in one of the Stewart-Haas Racing drivers. Is it going to be Noah Gragson? Is it going to be Ryan Preece? And also, Riley Herbst's name is out there as well. Does Riley Herbst possibly go to Front Row? Front Row still has 2 seats that they haven't talked about who's going in there. They have Pickle Todd is back. Todd Gilliland is back. We know that for sure. But other than that, Front Row Motorsports hasn't really talked about who's going in those other 2 seats, and we haven't seen a lot of really solid information on who's going to go in those two seats. Noah Gragson for sure got to be the hottest free agent that's in the Cup Series that's left out there. So I imagine he is going to be going there, or he's also been linked. Some people are saying that he's going to go to RCR. So a lot of stuff up in the air, but interesting that there's only 2 seats left. The silly season's unloading pretty fast, and we're not even to the playoffs yet. This is how wild the silly season has been. So yeah, pretty wild so far. AM Racing, where Hailie Deegan has been driving in the Xfinity Series, released this statement. After a rough start to the first half of the Xfinity Series season, the team is looking to channel the 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and Sunday's winner at Nashville Speedway to help provide feedback that the team can use to improve on-track competition as the sport heads into the second half of the season. The level of competition in the Xfinity Series is as competitive as it's ever been, commented AM Racing Team President Wade Moore. It is our goal at AM Racing to field competitive race team throughout our technical alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing and provide any of our drivers the best equipment and opportunity to be successful at the track each weekend. With that being said, we haven't had the success on track that we were hoping for in the first half of the season. When the opportunity to have Joey in the car at Chicago became possible, we felt we needed to take advantage of the knowledge and feedback that a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion could provide to our team's growth. Added more, we intend to take the feedback and data from the Chicago race weekend and apply it to building a better race cars each week so AM Racing can have a stronger second half of the season. So there it is. Hailie Deegan is out of the 15, at least for the Chicago Street Course. We don't know if it's going to be just this one race or whatever. I would assume personally that it's just going to be the one race. Then they put her back in the car with all their partners, and their partners have said that they're on board with the team. They want to make AM Racing better. Clutch Vodka at least said that, which is going to be the sponsor, I would assume, this weekend at the Chicago Street Course. So we'll see what happens going forward. Is Hailie Deegan being forced out, or is this just a one-race deal? We don't know. We'll have to see what happens going forward, but definitely a very interesting story in the Xfinity Series. And finally, Hooters is no longer with Hendrick Motorsports. Let's take a look at this story here, also from Jayski. Hendrick Motorsports says that Hooters has not been able to meet sponsorship obligations to the number 9 team of Chase Elliott, and they have ended the relationship. Hooters' sponsor deal with the team was scheduled to end after this year. They were the primary sponsor for Elliott at Atlanta and Texas earlier in the year and were scheduled to sponsor the fall Richmond race. Hooters has struggled recently and just announced the closure of 44 locations nationwide. So yeah, the current situation with the economy has hit the restaurant industry pretty hard, and Hooters is no exception to that. Like they said there in that article, they closed 44 stores. I'd seen that where Hooters had closed 44 stores earlier in the month here, and I was wondering how that would play out for the Cup Series deal. I wondered if they would, re-sign with Hendrick, but apparently not. Apparently they're not even going to make it to the end of their contract with Hendrick with one race left on the ticket. They're apparently going to miss that one, and that deal is over with. So hopefully they can come back, because I do like those paint schemes, going all the way back to Alan Kawicki, man. Just a great sponsor in the sport. So hopefully they can get healthy again as a restaurant and be able to sponsor Cup teams in the future. But yeah, unfortunately, they're gone for now. Speaking of being gone for now, that's all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. Going to live stream here tonight at 7 p.m. The NASCAR Weekly Podcast will come on at 8 p.m. So that's why I'm going at 7. So if you want to look at the live stream, we'll be going from 7 to 8 as the prelude to the NWP. Other than that, if you've got a question, comment, leave it down in the comment section. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.